In Africa, women produce up to 80% of the food. In their communities, women not only cultivate the land and market the harvest, they prepare the meals, collect the water, find the fuel, and raise the children. The issue in the advocate for food security, lessening the burden of women, is that the food issue is not a woman's issue. Therefore, all the burdens, all the steps that stop a woman to be a good producer for the community should be handled not by women alone or not by a group of women who are trying to solve a female problem, but by the whole community. Women need to produce food. They don't have the technology to produce that food. They keep working, they keep having these burdens, and people keep needing food without helping them to be able to produce more. So that's the real dilemma.
Is it really time for me to rise? I feel as if I've only just laid down my head. But I need to get up. I have so much to do before the sun rises. I hope I have some water left over from last night so that I can wash. Oh, there is some here, but there's no time to enjoy it. Besides, it's so cold. Careful now. I need to leave enough for my husband and my children to wash. If my children go to school without washing, then people will say I failed to take care of my family. Now quickly, I have to light the fire for it brings heat. Light is a sign that there's life in this house. Now, while my husband's water is warming on this fire, I will sweep the kitchen and the outside area, then tend to the goats and chickens. I can sell the eggs in the market today.
The problem is that she doesn't see herself only as a farmer. She sees herself as the mother of her family. One of the biggest duties is to feed her family, because for generations, mothers are the one who feed. A true mother is the one who gives food, not only to her children, but also to the visitors, to the members of the family, to her husband. And this is how she wins her position of a mother, not only for her own children, for also the society children. So that is important for her to produce food, a lot of food, and have storage where you always have enough to feed beyond your family.
My children and their toys. Wake up, children, wake up, for the sun is beginning to rise. Bring the baby here. He's hungry and his crying will disturb your father. Here, while I gather the gourds and the buckets, put the dirty dishes in the basket and we'll wash them in the river. Fanta, my daughter, I've warmed some food for you and your brother. Don't forget to eat and wash before you go to school. And please, pay close attention to your lessons, for it is very important for you to learn. Come, little ones, let's go to the river. If my daughter was not at school, she could be helping me with my burdens, but I'm willing to sacrifice for her education. I stood up to my husband and his family when they said it was not necessary for her to go to school. I think it is. I want her to learn. I want her life to be better than mine. Maybe she will go to the city and find a job and won't have to do the things that I do. For here, the sun is only just rising and I've been up for over an hour already. And it will take another hour just to collect the water and return home. Sometimes I wonder how I managed to get everything done. Well, I've wasted time thinking and dreaming. There's no time for such things in my life. Hurry up, children. Fill up the containers while I finish washing these dishes.
Sending children to school while you still need help at home is a real issue. This is the only help the mother has. There is a choice between happily sending the children to school, what she does in this particular case, or thinking that you really can't fulfill all the jobs. Therefore, you wake your children hours before, which is difficult for the children, for their growth, for their ability to follow later on in school. You wake them up very early so that they go to fetch water. There is a tendency to keep female children at home because they are going to be mothers.
I have returned home and have fixed the morning meal for my husband and the younger children. After the children ate, I sent them to the house of my mother-in-law to play. They are still too young to help me in my work. And now it's time to go to the market. And I'm adding the eggs that I collected this morning to the basket that I filled last night with peanuts, okra, and tomatoes. I hope it doesn't take too long to sell these things or to trade them for some dried fish and salt. Maybe I will even buy some fruit today. But I must be careful to get a good price for my products and to save some money for the school fees, which I do next week. I almost have enough money for one child, but I must save some more, or else I can only send my son to school, and I must send my daughter also. Hush now, my baby. What is wrong? Can you be hungry still? Lately, you have not been satisfied with the milk I can give you. I can't seem to produce enough to fill you. I remember the nurse at the health center told me that I should take some medicine because my blood was poor. Can that affect my milk? But I can't afford any medicine. And besides, the health center is 15 kilometers away and I will have to stand in a long line. The last time I was there, I finished too late to come home and I had to sleep there. Oh, I will have to think about this later.
The health of her family is what exists. If you only take her health, this woman will fall dead. She will see a doctor or a traditional healer only if she can't stand up, which means she doesn't look after her own health because she is busy all the time. She doesn't have the time to listen to her body. Actually, when I was growing up, my mother used to say, a woman doesn't listen to her body. Don't listen to your headache. Don't listen to your... My mother kept saying this. Because she is a producer. She has an economic input in the whole nation's life. Her health should be taken care of. Each worker is in some insurance system. This worker here is not in an insurance system. So the society food is not insured if the worker is not insured.
Oh, God. I have left some peanuts and the fruit for the noon meal for my school children, but I had no time to eat. I had to hurry to the fields, for the sun is high, and I must weed my maize field, and then go to weed my husband's cotton field. I know that weeding is considered a job only for women, but I never have a chance to do a complete job in my field in which our food grows because I have to go and weed his field of cotton. And when the cotton is sold, I see very little of the money. Which is more important, food or cotton? You cannot eat cotton, but what am I to do?
The farmer is still perceived as a man. And whenever there is a technology developed or any improvement in agriculture, it is done for men who usually work for the cash crop. But even within the cash crop agriculture, some of the women's roles, like weeding, haven't found technology because this is a woman's job. In this case, there is very little research on technology that will address the agriculture that is a food agriculture, because this agriculture is an agriculture reserved to women.
Well, the sun is going down. I better leave the field because today I have to gather wood since my supply is low. We used to be able to cut the wood at the edge of the village, but now some of that land has been cleared to plant more cotton. The chief has declared the rest of the closest trees to be a reserve, so we cannot cut them. Of course, they did not consult with the women before they make such a decision. Now we have to go right past this reserve to gather wood. It does not make sense to me. Oh. Today I stayed too long in the field and it's getting late. Well, I don't see anyone around. Maybe I'll just sneak into this reserve and gather some branches that might have fallen during this storm of the last few days. Here are a few. It is not much, but I can't carry much anyway since I have the baby.
The fuel issue is the problem. The fuel issue is the problem because of modern agriculture. If you want women to go about producing food, and you bring situations where, because of the protection of the land or because people buy land in that village, women can no more find wood around where they used to find it, then it takes more of their time and they get more and more burdened.
I stopped by the garden to gather some things to sell tomorrow in the weekly market in our neighboring village. My vegetables are always in demand there. I know I can make enough money to pay for my daughter's school fees and maybe even enough to buy her a new uniform since the old one is much too small. I must do all that I can to keep her in school. It is my responsibility. Ah, and there she is, my Fanta. She has come to help me with my chores. Good, my beauty, because we have to start preparing the evening meal. My husband has been sick for a few days and I have to work even harder. The traditional doctor is coming tonight to help him. We think he was poisoned by the enemy who's hoping to gain some of his land. The meal must be finished before the doctor comes so that I can prepare whatever medicine that he brings with him. What is this? The water has been finished. Doesn't this family realize how far away the river is? Well, we have no choice. Fanta, gather the little ones and we will go to the river. Hurry up, time is passing. You little ones, run ahead and wash in the river. You've gotten so dirty today. What's the matter with you, my child? Why are you stumbling? Are you sick? You have a high fever. Maybe it is the malaria returning. Fanta, you'll have to take the baby while I tend to him. This means I have to take him to the health center tomorrow. And what I sell tomorrow will have to pay for the medicine. I hope the line is short at the health center because I have so much to do. Ah, I see that my husband is already home. I hope he will understand why his meal will be a little late. Take your brother to lay down. I will brew him some tea while I cut the vegetables. I'm glad that I was able to pound some extra maize yesterday so that I only have a little to pound today. All right, children, will you please play quietly for both your father and brother are sick? Yes, I know you are hungry, but you have to wait until I'm finished cooking. All right, children, your meal is ready. Come and eat. Where are the little ones? Have they gone to sleep already? Wake up and eat. How do these little ones expect to get strong if they are sleeping by the time I'm able to finish cooking? Then they must be woken up and forced to eat. No wonder this one is sick and the others are weak. Fanta, please Fanta, help me feed them. Because I can't let anyone else get sick. The doctor has come and has confirmed our suspicions that my husband was poisoned. I'm boiling a special portion for him. In the meantime, I boiled some fever grass for my sick child, and he has gone to sleep. Finally, everyone is asleep. The house is quiet. But for me, the day is not yet over. I have to prepare a meal for tomorrow that my daughter can warm up because I do not know when I'll be back from the health center. And what about that meat that my friend brought to me this evening? I guess I should smoke it now because I will not have time to do it tomorrow. And if I wait for the next day, it will spoil. I'll be happy when my husband's brother's widowed wife comes with her children to live in our compound. We can help each other with work. And her children are older, so they can work with us. Maybe I will even have time to go to a meeting with some of the other women and have a chance to wear that new dress that my husband bought for me. Or perhaps I'll even have time to go to that literacy class. I wonder if I can still learn to read and write. It would be so nice to share my work. I'm always so tired.
Africans know without anyone telling them that women are the backbone of the nation's food supply. Although many have advocated on their behalf, women themselves are the ones who are taking the initiative to lessen their burdens by working collectively. Throughout Africa, you will find women's cooperative obtaining credit and working with engineers to create alternative technology to farm and process food more efficiently.
Chiri inda sukar mabara gahamo. Haro bande.
Zwe. Waranka chindi inka. Jiri. Jemberfo.
Women have also formed classes in literacy and healthcare where they are gaining skills and coming together to solve common problems. There is an African saying I learned from Bisi Ogunleye of Nigeria. If you go to a fortune teller and she tells you the coronet is facing down, meaning the fortune is bad, and you return and she says the fortune is still bad, an African mother will advise you not to wait for the fortune teller to find the coronet facing down a third time. She will say, use your hand to turn the coronet up because it is by your own effort that your life will improve. Hunger will end in Africa if we stop crying on our misfortune and do something about it. And one of the things to do is to support African women farmers in their efforts.